What up, what up, what up? It's your favorite podcast, Freewenow.
Till it's backwards.
Till it's backwards.
We back,
Yes,
we
sir,
back.
ski. Look. Listen here. Listen, let me tell you something. Let
Open
me tell
your
you.
ears for this one
Let
right
me
here.
tell you something. Very much something. Or Young Miami say, very much something. Okay? Great topics for y'all today. Like, honestly, we're spoiling y'all at this point.
We're putting a little too much on it.
You know what I'm
Too much
saying?
on it.
You feel me? So like, okay, what you got for the people? Because we need all the time we can get. I'm not gonna even give them no like a blah 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 blah. Go ahead. What you got?
As always, follow me on Instagram at Chief_Gilmore. Follow me on Twitter at Call Me Sweat. I love to be here as always. I love you people.
Yes, Sirski. And follow me at Hosta1 on all platforms. And it's Freewenow. Let's kick it off because I don't even want to waste no time. We need all we can get. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so the topics are for today: procrastination. Procrastination. Okay, the next one is change your environment to increase your influence. Change your environment to increase your influence.
Because you gotta get it.
And why is that even important? And the last one is, what are your addictions?
We're not talking about the regular addictions. We talking about
No, we don't.
real
Yeah,
personal ones.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I like alcohol and I do drugs. Like, no, that maybe you need to get off of those too. But
Yeah.
like,
you need help, brother.
You know what I'm saying?
We're not talking about those.
We're not talking about those. Go to therapy and stop using those as a coping device, right? So coping mechanism. But we're not even talking about that. So procrastination. Let's get into it. Procrastination. What is procrastination? Why do we procrastinate? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Whew. Procrastination is the reason we are here right now.
Facts.
It's the reason
Let's
we
be
are
real.
here right now, yo. Like,
The reason we're not already blown up because we procrastinate on this podcast.
Yeah, we got videos and recordings of sound bites from 2020. 2020. We've been talking about doing a podcast since 2020 and ain't made no movement.
No movement. Bro.
So that procrastination, as I said, it's a thing that can be crippling. It can really be crippling. It could be crippling in your everyday life. It could be crippling in your relationships. It could be crippling in your career. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I love to be, I'm gonna do it later, dude. You know what I'm saying? I love to be
do
like,
it later.
you know what? I'm gonna cook a little bit later. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go hit the stove a little later. I'm gonna go get gas a little later. You know what I'm saying? And then weeks later, you ain't got nothing done. You know what I'm saying? You still in that predicament, right? And one thing about procrastination, it stacks up until the weight on your shoulders is unbearable. Not only did you not get gas last week, but you ran out of gas in the middle of the highway. Not only did you not get your groceries, but now you spent all your money on this couch that you bought for your house and now you can't eat. Not only did you not go get these clothes for this wedding that you're supposed to have, now it's the wedding day and ain't nothing done. You know what I'm saying? It stacks up until the weight on your shoulder is unbearable. So that procrastination can be crippling. And a lot of times procrastination is fear.
Ooh, talk
being
about
afraid.
it.
It's being afraid of what you can accomplish, right? It's being afraid of those different things. Like, you know what I'm saying? We procrastinate because we know there's something we want to do. We know there's something we want to build, right? But we are afraid of the outcome. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many times have you put off investing in stocks? How many times have you put off making a podcast? How many times have you pulled off calling that person in your life that you ain't talked to because you're afraid of what can come out of it, right? That procrastination stacks up, like I said, and it becomes crippling in our life, and it changes a bunch of different things, right? So you got to acknowledge it, right? Because everybody procrastinates in a way. Like, there's been plenty of times where you had to write a paper, you had plenty of time to write the paper, and then you're doing it the night before, right? Granted, whatever grade you get out, whether it's an A+, whether it's an F-,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? You procrastinated, you waited too long when you could do so much better if you take the small chunks out of that task, right? So instead of putting the full task off, even if you're gonna extend it out, you know what? Let me knock out this one portion of this task, right? So in a sense, you're not procrastinating because you're still building towards the goal. You're just doing it and expand it out. Like we said before, we did our first recording, right? We did it in the crib, off the iPhone, in the middle of our house, no background, no nothing, right? Because we figured that if we didn't start doing something now, we would never do it, right?
We would never do it.
We took a small bite out, and now look at it. In a little studio now. Like, the whole layout is different, right? Because we took that first step. You know what I'm saying? We didn't let that procrastination cripple us.
Man, procrastination can be crippling. I think a phrase, bro, that you said in there, a little later. That a little later, like, let's take that out of our vocabulary. A little later. Whenever you start feeling yourself saying, I'll do it a little later. Blah, 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 a little later. We'll just a little later. bro, that a little later
becomes
is
a lot later.
that it's crippling, bro. Like, so now he just hearing you say that, I'm gonna make a intentional action. I'm gonna take action on no longer saying a little later, bro. Because that a little later turns into stress, right, on yourself and then also on others.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because now you stressed out about you not taking action on something. Now you stressed out about something else. So I'll take us for example, right? Like you said, we've been doing this, bro, off and on, here and there since 2020, right? Imagine where we would be right now, bro, if we just acted on that in 2020, where our podcast would be.
Sickening.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it almost makes me like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so only you feel me? So like, only thing we can do now is take action. The only thing that cures procrastination is taking action. Taking action, like he said, on a small thing, and it creates momentum.
Yeah.
How do you beat procrastination? Number one, address it for what it is. It's fear. It's being scared, like straight up. Procrastination becomes being fearful of an unwanted outcome, when really we should just be focused on producing the outcome that we want. So if we fear producing an unwanted outcome, if we get that unwanted outcome, just keep going until you get the outcome that you want.
Exactly.
What we don't realize is that all of our outcomes that we want in our mind are just made up. So why don't we just make up to focus on the outcome that we want to bring to fruition?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So like, address it for what it is. It's fear. Straight up. Procrastination is fear. If you try to call it something else, you're lying. You're trying to, dance around the subject and not offend procrastination. Like, don't be afraid to offend procrastination and offend yourself. It's fear. You're scared. We were scared. We were fearful. That's why the podcast is just coming out.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we were fearful and we were scared, and that's why we are where we are now. To beat it now is to take action. Keep doing little things. And now we're building up momentum, right? So now we're building up the momentum to now it's like we got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of going out and partying, we like, nah, we finna brainstorm so we can get up early in the morning and do what we need to do to get our energy right for the podcast.
2027, we will not have final soundbite stored in our phone.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
they're gonna be putting up numbers.
Like, come on, bro. You know what I mean? So procrastination really hurts yourself more than you realize it. Like, we have to stop bragging about getting that paper done at 11:59. Because it's like, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Wait. I can't make it happen at the last minute.
No, bro.
I love that come through in the last minute. I love it.
Because it's like,
I love the game.
Love the game, love the hustle. Love the game, love the hustle. You know what I'm saying? But it spills, so like, that mentality spills over into your relationships. Spills over to your dreams and your goals and aspiration. Spills over to being a better parent, being a better son or daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you do anything is how you do everything. So you can't turn it on and turn it off and be like, okay, just for the papers, I'm going to just in the last minute, fourth quarter, go crazy. Or just when I need to get this job done and write this report, I'm going to do it at the last. Like, what you don't realize is that a little later mindset, your mind doesn't know the difference between a small task and a big task. You know what I'm saying? Like, your inner self doesn't realize, oh, okay, just washing dishes a little later or just going to get groceries a little later. Now it's like, oh, now doing a podcast to change my life, change my generational wealth. Like, the money, we ain't making money yet, but like, the money, I say yet, okay, it's coming. But like, the money that we can produce from this, bro, can allow us to go buy real estate, can allow us to go buy stocks, can allow us to go buy gold and silver, can allow us to invest and create companies and then create generational wealth.
Building blocks.
You know what I'm saying?
That's all it is, building blocks.
So like, really, is you're putting off your future greatness off of just that turn a little later.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of that a little later.
And you don't realize how much that procrastination takes out of you for that little small moment. Like we said before, you not going to get groceries. Yeah, you're going to spend $300 to get groceries. But now, for that whole amount of time you ain't get groceries, now you got to spend that $30 on Uber Eats, that $50 to get food here, that $15 at that spot here. Not only did you spend another $350 waiting to get groceries, then you had the back door when you finally get groceries. So now you done spent $700 when you said a little later. But now it's a little more. Now it's
a little later turns into a little more.
A little more expensive, bro.
You feel me? A little bit more stress. If you do it a little later, it's going to cause a little bit more pain. You know what I'm saying? Like, that a little later causes a little more.
Exactly. That's crazy, bro.
That's tough. Okay. Okay, procrastination, right? And not attacking and understanding that it's fear. Let's talk about how your environment is huge to your growth.
Ooh, it
Let's
is.
talk about how if you don't change your environment will change you.
It'll take a hold.
And let's talk about how changing your environment is important for increasing your influence.
Because you need it.
You gotta have influence to change the. People talk about changing the world, or I want to spark that person to change the world. People gotta follow you. I heard this the other day, right? Somebody said a leader with no followers is just somebody taking a walk.
Mm.
A leader with no followers is just someone taking a walk. So how can you influence people? How can you grow? You know what I'm saying? How can you really impact change? And we ain't even talking about just on like a huge global level. You got a million followers on Instagram. I'm talking about your family. I'm talking about your household. I'm talking about your kids. I'm talking about on your job. I'm talking about people that you come in contact with in person. You know what I'm saying? So talk about that, bro. Change your environment to increase your influence.
Your environment is one of the most important things in life, right? Because we all got these friends, and even sometimes ourselves, that grew up in an area that wasn't the best, that wasn't beneficial for them getting educated, that wasn't beneficial for them creating a different life. You know what I'm saying? And no matter how much you want to get out of a situation, if you stay in the same environment, you stay in the same area, eventually you're going to succumb to the different wrongdoings or the different struggles in that environment and situation, right? The only way you can do it is get yourself outside of it. Like we say all the time, like, hey, you want to lose weight, you want to be fit, you go join a gym. You want to buy a brand new car, you go to the car dealership. You want to go eat some food, you go to a restaurant or you cook at your house, right? You have to put yourself in an environment to build the things that you're talking about, right? Because if you don't change it, if you want to get fit, but all you do is sit on the couch and play video games, you ain't never gonna get fit. Your finger work's gonna be nice.
Right.
Your finger work gonna be nice, but building that totality of health is not gonna happen unless you put yourself in an environment. And then when you put yourself in an environment, you meet people with the like mindset, right? When I go to the gym, there's people in there working out. Now I'm in the gym and I'm looking at this person working. I'm like, damn, that's a nice workout. Let me go chop it up with bro. Like, hey, why do you do this workout? Why did you get that? Then you're meeting a trainer who's like, hey, you should start eating like this. This is how you build this. Now you done went from sitting on the couch playing video games to becoming a trainer yourself, because now you know the totality of the different things that it takes to meet health, right? And that's in anything. Like, we want to build a podcast, so we went from our crib doing it, you know what I'm saying, sitting on two stools with no background, to a studio with mics and headphones and, you know what I'm saying, the different type of recording equipment to make it better, right? Because we're putting ourselves in that environment to grow, to be better.
Right. Facts, bro. I mean, it's like if you sit in a barbershop long enough, eventually you get a haircut.
You're gonna get a cut.
You're gonna get a haircut. You're not gonna sit there with the scruff, you know what I'm saying, and everybody getting fresh, and you're not gonna do it.
Pick the right barber though.
That's true.
You don't want your joint like this.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta salute like, yes sir.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want that. You feel me? So like, you gotta to grow. So like, this is an interesting thing that I realized, bro. We was talking about this, and it's like your initial environment really came from something that you didn't have any say over.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying? You was born into it. So you were born into your family. So like immediately in your household, right? Like your guardians, your parents, your siblings, right? You didn't choose that. Okay, then let's talk about your school system. Your school, you didn't choose where you wanted to live, right? Like, or where you play sports. Normally, your childhood friends and your childhood memories are generated by proximity. You know what I'm saying? It's generated by people you went to school with, people you went to the Boys and Girls Club with, went to the YMCA with, you know what I'm saying? Person that lives down the street, right? So those day ones, right? Or those people that saw you or knew you from way back when, or knew you since a jit, right? Really, are those the best people for you? Because sometimes they are, sometimes they're not, right? Because when you're trying to get to another level of life, right? You're growing from that same place where you came from. You know what I'm saying? So you have to change that. Like, we didn't pick our original friends, our initial friends, but like now you need to start picking your friends based on what you want to do, right? And so changing your environment, like he said, it creates momentum. So now instead of you feeling like you got to go through it alone, now you in the gym with somebody else, and now you in the gym, you join a club, you join a run club, you join a run group. Right? So now you're talking about fitness and health, and you got people to go through it and inspire you when you don't have the energy to inspire yourself.
Makes it easy when somebody else doing it with you.
You know what I'm saying? It's like an African proverb that said, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go together. I said again, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So like when you really trying to go far in life and you trying to really reach all your goals, you gotta join groups. Like people talk about, I don't know anybody, or I don't want to just keep going out to clubs, and that's cool. But what is the action that you're gonna take? Yeah. You can't say I'm gonna just not do this and just chill. I'm gonna just sit back and watch Netflix. You gotta get outside, bro. It's tons of free groups on Facebook, on Eventbrite, you know what I'm saying, on all of these different sites and apps where you can meet people of like-minded individuals and grow, bro. And so we talk about changing your environment and changing your environment to increase your influence. Why is it important that we have influence?
Because influence is one of the most important things in the world, right? If you have influence, you can almost make anybody do anything, right? You don't want to be out here being the blind leading the dumb, of course. You know what I'm saying? You want to know what you're talking about. You want to have backing, right? Because when you're educated about something, it's so easy for somebody to want to follow you, right? So to build that influence, of course, you have to have that knowledge, right? But when you build that influence, you build that following, right? It goes from people just watching your podcast to people wearing your merch, to people telling other people about their podcast, to people trying to come on and get interviews, from people talking about your business to people actually investing in it, to people doing these things. Like building that influence is something that takes you farther than just what the standard is, right? It helps you get out of that, like you said with friends, that proximity circle you got, to now you're reaching worldwide. So now proximity isn't the thing that it takes for people to follow you. It's just the fact that people understand and they view your education as important. They view what you're talking about as important, right? So now you're building outside of that. And when you have influence, bro, you can take over the world. You can take over anything that you want, bro.
I think you mentioned a huge thing, bro. It's time to get out of our proximity. Yeah. Like influence is powerful because people with it, it's too many bad people with influence. Yeah. Influencing people to do the wrong stuff. And then it's like, instead of the good people being like, oh, all the evil people have all the influence. All the evil people are doing this, that, and the third. The bad people run the world. I think it's time that the good people, if you call yourself good people, it's time that we get out in the world and have the influence so we can influence people to do good. You can't change the world for a better place, make it a better place, if all you doing is chilling and you say, oh, I got just enough. Oh, I got just enough money. Like, that's such a selfish mindset. Oh, I got just enough influence. Oh, I got just enough. That's such a selfish mindset. It ain't about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really want to change the world, if you really want to impact people, be of service, you need to get really good at something, get out of your proximity so you can have influence, so you can influence and make an impact and leave change, bro.
It shows people that ain't really committed to their craft.
It shows.
It shows when you're not trying to build up your influence and trying to make more of yourself. It shows you are not committed to your craft, right? Like I said, bro, inspiration is one of the greatest things in the world, right?
Bro, it's one of the highest human acts is to inspire.
You know what I'm saying? If I create a painting and then you know what I'm saying, a little 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid comes to my thing and sees my painting, I could be creating the next great right there because he sees that inspiration. So I'm building out my influence. I'm getting out of that proximity. I'm getting out that comfortability. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting myself out there, and people don't understand that people are feeding off the energy that you're putting and building their own stuff. So whether your influence is not a direct touch of you, like that person being right underneath you, it goes in their mindset change.
It's a domino effect.
You know what I'm saying? So now, not only is my artwork in the world, he's at my art event 10 years or later talking about, hey, bro, I wouldn't have did this if it wasn't for you. And now his art is better than mine. I love to see that inspiration, bro. I love to see that inspiration.
For sure, bro. For sure. No, that's heavy, bro. That's literally, like, that's how we, you know, grow, have that domino effect of, like, this person attacking this person touching this person. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a domino effect. And now, since you influence that young artist now has their own spirit influence, and they influence people. Then now they have their own influence, and that person's inspiring that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, it causes change to go throughout the world. You know what I mean? Like, we want to be global. You know what I'm saying? We was talking the other day, like, bro, we want to go to Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to bridge the gap between Black Americans here and then Africans, you know what I mean? That whole continent. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if, like, You create change, and now you got people in Africa, people in Europe. You know what I'm saying? People in Australia, like
Asia.
everywhere in Asia, bro. Like everybody is like growing and being energized, and like the beautiful thing about it, bro, is like that youth, like inspiring the youth. Youth has the energy. You know what I'm saying? The youth is the future. You feel me? Like that's the people that change the world. You get the wisdom from the elders, and you take that wisdom and combine it with the energy of the youth. You feel me? And that's how you impact, and that's how you change the world. So influence is powerful and needed to create a better future, right? It's needed to create a better world. It's needed, okay? Influence is definitely needed. Everybody has to say, oh, I'm an influencer, or I do social media influence. Okay, but what are you influencing people to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you influencing people? What type of actions? What type of behavior? What type of lifestyle changes are people doing?
Like you said, it's needed.
It's needed.
Not a maybe, not a if I have it.
It's not a muscle minnows. It's needed. Okay? Okay, so on that note, right? We talked about procrastination. We talked about changing your environment to increase your influence. What about addictions, bro?
Ooh, what is your addiction?
Like, what is your addiction? You know what I'm saying? Like, and we're not just talking about, oh, I like Casamigos, or oh, I like smoking weed. Like, okay.
We get that. Though, take care of those. Those are important addictions to, you know what I'm saying, to work towards and get rid of. But that's not what we're talking about right now.
We're talking about your everyday life, your daily habits. What are your addictions? So just to clarify, like, how about we give them some examples?
Yeah, we'll give them some
So,
examples.
okay, so what is one of your addictions, bro, that you realize, like, hey, this is something that I really need to change for the growth of Keith, and I realize that's an addiction, and I need to change it.
So, you know what I'm saying? One of my biggest addictions is something that, you know, I took a lot of time when I went on deployment to like discuss and kind of do a lot more self-reflection, right? One of my biggest addictions is going to be conflict avoidance. So like, I'm starting to realize now that conflict is healthy. It doesn't always have to be a bad thing, right? Before I looked at conflict as if I was being the hero, right? You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm avoiding it, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to
be the bigger
it.
person.
I'm gonna hold my tongue for certain things so I don't have these petty arguments. I don't have this growth, right? And then I started to realize that even with that conflict avoidance, even by using my voice to say things or speak things, it showed in my actions. Right? So now people are like, yo, why are you acting weird about this situation? Because I wouldn't speak up about it. Now I'm having this inadvertent like push off of people or distances of people, and even just in general, like you're not getting out how you feel. You're not getting out, you know what I'm saying, what you see in life. You're not building that growth without having that conflict. Right now, I'm getting to this point where I have to speak up. Like I have to tell people how I feel. I have to tell people what I see and stuff like that. And even just that motion helps educate me in not only myself, but what other people view. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like you said before in a previous podcast, there's billions of people in this world. There is no possible way everybody's going to agree. You're going to have people that agree with you, but it's not going to be a possibility that every single person likes what you like, wants to do what you want to do, sees what you see, right? So having that conflict, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not sitting here and saying I need to go out here and just steal somebody, or, you know what I'm saying, get into a tussle, start shooting and stuff. Like, that's not what I mean. I mean in that healthy conflict. Speaking up on what bothers you, speaking up on what you view, speaking up on what you love, right? That helps people. That helps build relationships too, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I got a girl or something right here, and I won't tell her what's pissing me off, or I won't tell her this, or I won't explain to her how it's going. She's gonna keep moving in that way, and it may annoy me to the most deepest sense. But if I don't speak up and have that conflict, or whatever, like, hey, I don't like this. You know what I'm saying? It's not on her, it's my fault. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one who led it to that situation. You know what I'm saying? And I got comfortable in having that conflict avoidance. Comfortable and be like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna let it slide. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, God, this little petty 15-minute argument I can have is stupid. Like, why would I get into that? But now that 15-minute argument turned into a 15-week situation.
Talk about it.
15-week situation, bro. And like I said before, stuff stacks up. So that one thing that I chose not to speak up about has now became 15 other things that I don't like. Now I'm acting this certain way. Now she's mad. And now when we finally have the conversation about it, we button heads. We're not even seeing eye to eye. You know what I'm saying? We're so mad about what I'm having the conversation about instead of getting to the root of the problem. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have that healthy conflict, build on it, and understand what you got to say and what you got to do.
So I'm going to unpack that a little bit more. So basically what you're saying, bro, is that avoiding conflict with others creates conflict within yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
So the more you avoid having conflict with other people, thinking that you being a bigger person is really just making you have these internal battles and conflicts to where you're not happy. And now, like you said, now your behavior, you think you avoiding conflict, but really low key you creating more.
Creating more.
You know
making
what I'm
it
saying?
worse.
You're making it worse because you're upset that they don't see you. They upset because they're like, how can I see you if you never say anything?
Yeah.
And now this little argument has now turned into a huge thing, right? And can also almost kind of create a divide and almost lead to breakups.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know what I mean? And so that's also, bro, conflict with your jobs, conflict with relationships, like with your parents.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I realize now I'm kind of at this point where it's like your late like, I don't want to put an age on it, but you kind of get to this point with your parents, bro, where it's like, it's no longer like you telling me yes or no till I can't do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To like now it's more of a like an advice thing if I were you, but like at the same time they have to take a step back and let you make your own decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like sometimes we don't communicate with our parents and from bottom to top and also top down to where now it kind of creates this like this headbutting thing where it's like, oh, you being disrespectful when it's like low key, like I'm kind of grown. Yeah. So like in a way you're not respecting my maturity, you know what I'm saying? To where like now we butting heads because now I want to go off on you, you want to go off on me because we're avoiding conflict with each other and we're not really talking about it and really unpacking what's going on.
I completely understand. One thing I gotta touch on, I gotta give a shout out to my pops about that.
Yeah.
You know, one thing about my pops, Phil, he's always treated me like a grown individual. Right. You know what I'm saying? He understands that I'm my own person. I gotta build my own things, right? I'll go to him for advice and he'll sit here and he'll tell me exactly what he would do, right? And at the end of every statement that he makes, he said, hey, this is what I would do, but I understand that you need to make your own decision, right? He's like, don't do nothing just because somebody else tells you, because he said, if it doesn't work out and if it fails, you're going to be mad at that person for not letting you succeed, right? He said, I don't want you coming back to me with that. He said, make the decision on yourself, because if you fail at something and you don't do something right, you only got yourself to blame. And I love the fact that he gave me that freedom, come talk to him about anything, right? And would give me advice, but would not sit here and be like, hey, this is what you're going to do, or this is what you need to do. Hey, this is what I would do. Right. But go ahead and tell me, like, you know, tell me what you want. Hey, you know what I'm saying? That's cool. This is what I may see was wrong with it. But at the end of the day, make that decision for yourself, right? You know what I'm saying? That's how you have to have that conflict. Like, that's healthy conflict.
We need healthy conflict.
That's healthy conflict right there.
Healthy conflict. I think my parents did the same thing as well, bro. They made it, and it's funny, like, I guess both of us coming from households and parents that allow for healthy conflict and allow for communication, and I think that's why we do it well. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why we have a podcast. You know what I'm saying? Because we come from environments, shout out to my people too, my parents as well, like, they created healthy environments for us to have healthy conflict. You know what I'm saying? That's huge and that's important. You feel me? Okay. Addictions. We got yours. Conflict avoidance.
Conflict avoidance.
That's a big one, because a lot of people try to think that they're the bigger person, or they got such great character because they avoid conflict. Exactly. Or I'm just the easy person, or nah, I don't really. I just avoid. I don't really like conflict. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how people try to make it seem like they're high and mighty because
you scared to tell the truth.
Facts.
Straight up.
You're at this point, you're afraid to address conflict and you're fearful. That's not some high and mighty quality to have. You feel me? Okay. And that's the end of the episode, y'all. I'm not gonna talk about mine because I don't have no addictions.
Yeah, all right.
I'm just playing. Okay, so my addictions. What is one of my addictions? You know what I'm saying? You know, I like it.
Not a problem.
Yeah. No, I'm joking. God-fearing man here. So my addictions, man, I'll give y'all one of them that I've addressed and that I'm working on is stop trying to skip steps.
Ooh. I don't even read the instructions.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we talked about the fine print the other episode, but it's like skipping steps, bro. I'm looking at the pictures. I'm trying to build it. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't reading nothing.
Nothing at all. Not even step one. I'm like, this go here, click. This go here, click, click.
You know what I'm saying? And mad why it's not working. You know what I'm saying? But skipping steps. So what does that look like? That's trying to skip steps. So even with this podcast, like thinking about, I need the greatest equipment. I need to spend $2,000, $3,000 on this, that, and the third. When it's like, just start.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Content.
Just build. You know what I'm saying? Skipping steps in like my life and my journey, and like trying to think that I need to be somewhere else than where I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Always looking ahead like, man, I should be there, or man, I should be further along. You know what I'm saying? Like not understanding to get to that point, bro, it takes a ton of work. It takes a ton of self-work. It takes a ton of self-growth and overcoming a whole bunch of obstacles to even get to that image. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times people want that overnight success.
Yeah.
People think that they should have been successful yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like even myself, like I'm like, man, we made a few episodes. We supposed to be, but we talking that talk. We supposed to be balling.
Blew up by now.
You know what I'm saying? When like in reality, it's not just people listening to us. It's like we're working, we're getting better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it takes time to get to that finished product where you see a person. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times I have an addiction to comparing myself to where I should be instead of comparing myself to where I was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I should compare myself to look and say, man, Hassan, look how far you've come. You know what I'm saying? Not looking at like, oh, look how far you gotta go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how you always think. That's
You know
what I'm saying? It's hard to get out of that mindset. It is.
It's hard, bro. Like I heard a quote like the person that enjoys walking will walk further than the person that loves the destination.
Ooh.
I'll say it again.
Speak to him.
The person that loves walking will walk further than the person that loves the destination. So what do I mean? The person that loves the journey of becoming, of constant improvement, the person that enjoys and loves the steps of climbing those steps and getting better every day, getting 1% better every day, will go further in life than a person that's just like, oh, I want to get 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to get 1,000 views. Oh, I want to get monetized on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I want to be this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? Like, once you get to that space, bro, where you like, man, I enjoy the fact that we did a podcast today and I got better. Whether that's on my posture, whether that's me looking to the camera, whether that's flowing on better topics, you know what I'm saying? Like remembering what I wanted to talk about and addressing all of these different examples, you know what I mean? Not being sporadic and off key and like talking and you know what I mean? Like the person that enjoys the journey, bro, like I have an addiction that I have now worked on and I'm changing from trying to skip steps, bro.
Yeah. And I completely understand it. Like when you skip steps, you don't build anything worth anything, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's take into account building a building, right? When you just want to erect the building, just get it up, you know what I'm saying? That's when you start to have the sagging or the leaning, the pulse of it. That's when you start to have it to crumble. The foundation isn't worth what the building is worth, right?
Remember that building that collapsed in Miami?
Crazy, you know what I'm saying?
Somebody skipped some steps somewhere.
But if they love the steps, right? I'm talking about the bare minimum. If they love taking a screwdriver and putting one screw into a piece of plywood, or if they loved, you know what I'm saying, welding the metal together at the base, you know what I'm saying? Like every step that they did was something that they enjoyed doing. That's when you build something that lasts forever, right? When you enjoy doing the stuff that you're doing, like you enjoy having that walk, right? You start to see the little things on that walk, right? When you're focused on the destination, you don't see nothing
missing
around
stuff.
you. You don't see nothing around you, bro.
Imagine when you first started driving. You can't even, you just focused on, you can't see nothing else.
Exactly. You're just streamlined. Streamlined, bro. But then when you love driving or you love walking, you start to see the trees over here. You start to see the animals doing this. You start to see the lights. Like you love everything about the journey, and then you get to the end and you realize, though it's been 3 years, it's felt like it's been 5 minutes. When you having fun, yo, time flies
when you're having fun.
When you having fun, time flies by. You ever been with the boys, your girls, whoever you want, you turning up, you having all this fun, and you keep looking at the clock like, damn, I only got an hour left of this. Damn, we only got 30 minutes and I gotta go. But when you at work and it's the last 15 minutes or it's the last hour, I'm talking about, damn, it's been 2 minutes. And it's been 3 minutes. It's been, bro, I'm still here all day, right? Because you don't enjoy what you're doing. You don't enjoy the journey. But when you enjoy it, you're gonna build the most beautiful things in life.
Facts. So this is what I be talking about. Y'all just ain't listening. Y'all ain't listening.
They're not hearing me.
They not listening, bro. That's what I be, man, listen. And so you see why we be like, we should have been putting this out. You feel me? Because like, it's not just for us, bro. Like, cool. We putting it out. We growing. We feeling good. Like whatever, right? But like the people that are watching this though, you know what I'm saying? Like
Somebody gonna like what we talking about.
somebody is gonna grow from it, and they're gonna be able to change their environment to increase their influence and stop procrastinating. You know what I mean? So that it can change their addictions.
Boy didn't put all the topics into one little blurb. I know y'all ain't hear that because I was listening. I was listening.
They not listening, bro. Like somebody that's watching this, we're gonna spark change for somebody to change their environment to want to increase their influence so that they stop procrastinating on changing their addictions that they have.
That's 2 for 2.
You feel me? Like, so I mean, bro, what you got for him, bro? And this is why I didn't want to waste too much time in the beginning because I knew we was gonna get to it.
We didn't
You
talk
feel
our
me?
heads off
Oh,
with this
before I forget, Drake, right, had a great line, right? In one of his verses, he said, "People be making excuses, acting like they taking their time. People make excuses, acting like they taking their time." So with the procrastination thing, right? We were talking about how we were scared and how we were fearful or whatever, right? He's basically saying, bro, like, oh, I'm just waiting around, or I'm just doing this. It's gonna happen. Like, in the right time, it's gonna all come together. When it's like, you trying to make excuses for you not taking actions on your goals to like, oh, I'm just waiting on the right time. I'm just waiting on this. Like, people don't understand. Like, they talking about I'm waiting on God, bro. God waiting on you. You feel me? Like, you gotta give God something to bless. Like, faith without works is dead. You feel me? Like, that mere word faith in itself, it means that you're taking actions on a belief on an expected outcome.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. Stop waiting on the perfect time.
It will never
start an opinion. It'll never happen.
It'll never be the perfect time.
There'll never be a perfect person. There'll never be a perfect place. There'll never be a perfect time. The perfect point is doing it now.
That's the perfect.
That's the perfect point is doing it now. Even
now.
when you ain't got the money to do it, even when you ain't got the time to do it, you make it and you do it now. Because otherwise, as we said before, you're gonna be years down the road looking into your phone, looking at what's going on, looking on Instagram, talking about, damn, they where I wanted to be. Why am I not there? Why am I still doing it?
And then start hating on them because they took action on their goals.
Exactly, bro.
Because you didn't take action, now you want to hate on somebody else for taking action.
There isn't a perfect time.
There's not a perfect time. Now is the only perfect time.
Now.
Okay. Hey, bro.
We got to tell a little something.
Yeah. So what you got for the people?
Hey, man, as always, follow me on Instagram at Chief_Gilmore. Follow me on Twitter, call me Sweat. And don't ever silence your voice for nobody. Speak up and tell them exactly how you feel and what you want.
For sure, man. Freewenow merch coming.
Freewenow till it's backwards.
Till it's backwards, you know what I'm saying? Till now we free. Hey, man, I just want to say, like, I love doing this. I love talking to y'all. We in our gift. You know what I'm saying? So get in your gift and then execute your purpose. Our purpose is to serve the people. So we're using our gift right now to serve y'all and serve the people. You know what I'm saying? So I stand beside it. It's like blue magic.
We about to speak.
I stand beside it. You don't know me more than you know the man General Mills. My man. No, it's like Pepsi. It's a brand name. Freewenow is a brand name. That's a little American Gangster reference if you didn't get that. But yeah, that's it, man. Freewenow till it's backwards. Go watch this. You know what I'm saying? Twice, 2, 3, 4, 5 times because we dropped a lot of gems.
Unpack it.
You feel me? Unpack it. And yeah, that's all we got. Follow me at Hostel One on all platforms.
You're Chief Gilmore. Call me Sweat.
Yep, and we like that. Freewenow till it's backwards. We out.